Hey, Julian, welcome back to the podcast. Hope you're well, my friend.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent, good. I'm really excited. We're going to talk about business as a force for good. So you've been doing this a lot over the last few years. So can you tell me a bit more about what is a business as a force for good?
How I would describe it, and what I would hope people would see us as, is that we're a business in the community with a social conscience.
Okay.
We're still a for profit. That's the whole
Yeah.
idea of the ethos. It's not a not for profit or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it's a business in the community, social conscious, and in reality, we're demonstrating that through our accreditation as a B Corp.
Okay.
Um,
So tell me how you guys became a B Corp. What do you have to do to be a B Corp?
okay. We were accredited as a B Corp in 2022.
Yeah.
That process is well. Let's explain what B Corp is as a
Yeah,
start, because
definitely.
people probably won't really know. I used to describe it as like fair trade for business.
Okay.
If you
Yeah,
remember, like
makes
the fair
sense.
trade products in the shops and that sort of thing, it's a sort of global movement, if you like, for a inclusive and equitable economy.
Yeah.
So it's about how we share ourselves and share the bits that we're doing with our local community. Um, we're committed to meeting sort of specific social and environmental standards.
Yeah.
So what I would say for that is that there's an element of charitable giving. There's an element of uh, looking after our local community and actually investing in our community.
Yeah.
So with that, we are a uh, we do things like we sponsor the local rugby team, which we did
Okay.
this season.
Yeah.
With that, what I'm actually looking at is that we actually put money aside for youth participation. So the whole
Okay.
of the youth section, we paid for their summer festivals.
Right.
With
Gotcha.
that, we were actually encouraging sports participation in our local community, which is engaging that youth, actually getting them out into the parks and things like that, actually playing sport, and generally that should be good for their health,
Gotcha.
and it's also good for their camaraderie and that sort of thing. That's not the only sort of thing we do. We sponsor like our local arts centre
Yep.
in what we do with their outreach sort of stuff, and there's other bits and pieces aside to that, but that's just one arm of being a B Corp. Um, characteristics, if you like, for being a B Corp, and we're assessed through B Lab for that.
Okay.
It is sort of social environmental performance.
Yeah.
So we're using green energy in the office. We're dedicated, signed up for the local electricity supplier to use the wind farm up the road.
Right.
That
Okay.
that
Yeah.
green energy comes in, and that's prescribed to be used for our office in the way we do it. We don't want the nuclear. We don't want
Yeah.
traditional forms of generation, coal fired, and
Okay.
the sort of past industries like that. So that's a green side of things. Company cars, they're all electric.
Oh, okay.
So I drive around in mine,
Yep.
and Rob's got his. They're electric cars, and it's prescribed that way. Uh, good for the good for the
Good for the
environment.
environment. Yeah.
Okay. Other sort of things in terms of environmental and local performance, we, we're designated to use local staff.
Okay.
We're looking for local supply chains. So within B Corp, we're prescribed that we must have no more than 50%. If you look at our local supply chain in 2021,
Yeah.
which is what they assessed us on, we had over 70% of our supply chain was deemed local,
Wow.
which is quite difficult when you think we're on Vodafone phones. That's not deemed local.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's things like that
Yep.
which the rest of our supply chain will come and meet down. Okay,
Gotcha.
that's that sort of element of social environmental performance. If you look at our legal accountability, we actually
Yeah.
changed our memorandums of agreement to
Okay.
actually prescribe that we've got legal accountability to our broader community and the environment, and
Mhm.
not just to the owners, shareholders.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, that was one step that we did towards that. Transparency wise, I'm quite happy to disclose what we do for our social and environmental impacts,
Yeah.
and what we're actually doing as a company overall. That we're assessed. B
Okay.
B Lab have actually come in and assessed us in what we do and said, yes, we're good for B Corp standard,
Yep.
which is always escalating as well, that level. So that's an increased level of involvement, if you like, in terms of transparency and accountability, and letting the staff know what we're doing,
Yeah.
and letting our customers know what we do as well.
So what was the driving force behind it? Because, I mean, we talk off camera about how I wanted to go paperless. We're not doing big things like you, but I wanted to make an impact. And I go to meetings now, and people say, "Oh, you got a business card?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, "What?" Don't get me wrong, that is a bit of a marketing tactic for me, because I can get their email address and number from
Yep.
them rather than me having to give it first. So there is a little bit of that, but we've got rid of the printer. I've gone electric, if you will, with like notepads and things like that, because we're not chopping down trees and things like that. And I know that you are actually planting trees per job, aren't you?
Yeah, we've got if you like, a note that we'll plant 5 trees for every job that we do.
Okay.
We've got a target to get 600 by 2025.
Yeah.
I think we're a good halfway there at the moment.
Fantastic.
In terms of what we're doing, but we're using the local rewilding schemes and that sort of thing to contribute to sponsor those tree sponsors.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's a good way of starting to try and give back. I know there's other schemes out there, and I've looked at things which other people do, putting the trees back in the Amazon and things like that, for instance.
Okay. Yeah.
I like the idea of that, but again, we want to try and do this on a local impact sort of way.
That's what I was going to
So
say.
our trees are up at effectively Horsham, they're south of
Okay.
there, but in the scheme there, and also we've been doing some stuff over in East Sussex on the more recent stuff. So
what was the driving factor behind it then?
In terms of B Corp overall,
Yeah. Why did you want to do that?
I like to think that I'm a caring sort of person.
Yeah.
And I think our staff that we've got here care, and it's the demonstration that you see through some of our work. I'd like to see comes from a greater ethos.
Yeah.
And with that, it's that investment and solidarity, if you like, call the words what you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's benefiting the entirety of the population, not just a small proportion. And in our work, I'd like to think that we choose to work with companies which are like-minded like us.
Yeah.
I think we work better in that way when we do that.
I'm never going to say that business is easy, but making it easier when you align with people who have a vision and a mission like you, and are doing something that's similar or even the same. It's so much easier. It's an easier relationship, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's a balance of stakeholder interests, if you like.
Okay.
One of my primary stakeholder interests is to make a profit. It's to pay the wage. It's with that, to pay a fair and reasonable wage. I think we exceed or generally will match up to the industry standards that we've got. I think it's about investing in your staff. Investing in those staff then allows their ongoing investment, if you like, because what I do and how I impact those staff generally begins to rub off on others in how we work as well.
Gotcha.
B Corp was a voluntary process.
Okay.
In what it is, it's seeking certification, it's seeking accreditation.
Yeah.
But it was really a demonstration of our commitment and impact on society.
Okay.
And that's really. I used to sign up for the ISOs and things like that. We've got ISO 9001. We just recredited on that to the latest versions. But this was a greater demonstration, if you like, of our societal impacts.
Yeah.
And not just that we can do the job, but we do the job with care.
I love the fact that you've just so many times you've mentioned care, and you highlighted it then again. And I refer, and this works with the synergy between you and I, because everybody that comes to work with me, I get them to read a particular book, and there is a chapter in this book, and it's one word, and it's chapter 9. It's Gary V's Crush It, and in there the chapter is the word is just care. If you can do that in business, you will have a sustainable business, no matter what life throws at you. And the fact that you've put it forefront, I really admire that. So my question now is, what does the future hold for Julian Church and Associates with regards to business for good?
Um, well, we're reassessed as B Corps every 3 years.
Yeah,
So we've got to maintain that standard.
so
And
you've
as
got to
I say,
maintain those.
the standards of the B Corp are stepping up
Yeah,
and getting harder, I believe, as we go through. So we'll maintain that. We will keep doing what we're doing, but actually sort of developing that in the best ways that we can. So things like that we're looking at the moment is we just signed up. Gaucho's a major customer for us.
yeah,
We like working with Gaucho. They've got a thing called Not for Sale, which they do through their brand, which is part of Gaucho.
okay,
But with that, they invest and partake time and look after people over in the Amazon, actually in
okay,
Peru. With that, it's taking away modern day slavery and things like that, and
yeah,
actually putting people into good business and replanting the Amazon in some respects in
yeah,
what they're doing and giving the people the trades there. So we've made a conscious decision that for the next 3 years we'll sign up to that and give them a part donation, which covers their donation. They're giving over £100,000 a year. If we
right,
can be part of that,
gotcha.
I'm delighted. And Gaucho is a company that I would like to be associated with because I like their environmental impacts of what they're doing, and they share an ethos in a lot of ways.
So what you're doing there is you're having your local impact on with your specific support of planting trees per job, and then you're actually supporting your customers and clients with their mission. So therefore, you've got local and global.
Yes,
Fabulous.
yeah,
So
and that's a good step forward for us.
yeah,
And a commitment. And it's about how we can find other customers and other people that we want to work with and engage our staff in that as well,
yeah,
in terms of in what we want to do. So take that away, we've got that sort of global impact, if you like, with them
yeah,
and Gaucho. To the same side as we've made a 3-year commitment to our local arts centre
yeah.
to do more or less exactly the same. But they are doing it in the local community here, looking out for the elderly as well as
Gotcha.
the young
Yeah,
in what they do with an outreach. So
brilliant.
engaging and actually getting them put through. So those sort of two things, if you like, two ends of the scale
Yeah,
of what we're looking to do. But then it's building everything else into our everyday. So we've already gone for the green energy and the cars, and we try to
mhm,
use train travel and that sort of thing, and
yeah,
keep our carbons down.
yeah.
Uh, but all of this then impacts into other pieces of work, like we're doing decarbonisation studies and things like
Okay.
that for our clients now.
I'm glad you
And
said that word. What's decarbonisation? And give us a summary of that.
in reality, it's about trying to reduce the carbon output of a building.
Right.
So, as an example, we looked at one of the local councils that
Yeah.
works quite recently, how we can bring some of their social housing back into use, but with
Right.
a reduced carbon footprint. So it's about putting more insulations in. It's about using um, good forms of heating.
Mm,
Um, it's about how we actually sort of bring down the energy usage generally and
yeah.
things like that, so that we're not having to use more carbon. We can talk about this in another podcast. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. We will.
Yeah.
I think that's a cracking idea, because what I want to get from you right now is if there's people listening, watching, even me. Okay. I'm like, do you know what? I'm very conscious that we need to do more. I
Okay.
remember I was reading a social post last night, and someone was saying how complaining about something, and it was how bad the state of the world is. I'm like, actually, do you know what? I think our planet is fabulous. We have an amazing planet. How can we, as business owners or people looking to get into business, maybe launch their own cafe or start their own restaurant? I know that's something you specialize in. How can they start doing business for good? Or how could they what's the process for to get them to think about, actually, do you know what? Let's make our cafe a B Corp cafe.
Yep. But well, in reality, I think we can help them by all means.
Yeah,
Come and talk to us. That's
yeah,
that's one point in how you can do it. But it's a case of looking at the actual your product and how you serve it, and then we can actually have a look at how what that actually needs around it and what's the best practice or best use for
yeah,
the different inputs that you have coming in. So in terms of a cafe, if they were looking for B Corp, I'd say you look at the actual premises that they're serving from and how that's all
Right.
set up,
Yeah.
and in terms of the inputs that they need and the product is the output.
Yeah.
But also it's looking where their supply chains are, where their staff are. It's all of those sort of things, and we can actually talk around certainly the building side for them, and we
Yeah.
can give them some ideas and on the other side of things, and also give them some people that can actually steer them down the B Corp route. We can give our perspective, but we can actually give them into guides of people that we'd use, and coming through and really. Taking a step back, I think there's a lot of people sort of say, "Well, what can I do? I'm only small. What difference will it make?"
Yeah. That's going through my head. That's going through my head.
I think if you look at it the other way, if I can get lots of people together,
Yeah.
all doing little bits and doing what difference does that make? That is the big step.
Creates a movement.
That movement. And if we can actually get that moving forwards, it will make a change. It will make a difference. And it's that volume that you need.
Gotcha. You've really opened my eyes to business for good today, and I'm really, really grateful for being able to do this podcast with you. And I think, the ones that you've mentioned, we should do podcast episodes on those and bring the whole story of business to good to the wider world.
Well, I was delighted actually that this year, 2023, as we're just finishing it now. So last year, when this comes out, we got awarded Business in the Community at the local Ada and Worthing Business Awards.
Right.
We were up against people like Waitrose, which
okay.
If you're looking for B Corps, look at Waitrose, look at Patagonia, look at people like that. They are your standard bearers for B Corp.
Yeah.
I'm at the very small end of it. I think I'm probably I was one of the first 1,000 within the UK as a B Corp. I think I was possibly, if not probably, the first quantity surveyors. I don't know any other quantity surveyors that have got B Corp.
Right.
I know architects with it. I don't know quantity surveyors. So with that, I think we're not leading the way, but we're hopefully we're showing what can be done. And that was recognised, if you like, through our local Ada and Worthing Business Awards recently. Fabulous. Where we got Business in the Community. So
congratulations.
It's nice to get a little bit of recognition sometimes.
Of course it is. Julian, my friend, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for running this podcast with us. I'm excited for the new series for you.
Thank you.
I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. See you.